Today I will be talking to, let me see if I can invite her. I will be talking to a friend, a broadcaster, journalist. She's an actress. She is an advocator, and she's many things, a media trainer, media manager, media marketer. She's a lot of things all encompassing. So I will be talking to her shortly, briefly, not briefly, but shortly. I will be talking to her right here, and I just hope she's. I've not seen her. I haven't seen her yet. Let me send her an invite. I haven't seen her yet. Going to be talking about so many things. She has a book. That's a book, Queen Rita, from rough edges to becoming the queen. Queen Rita, from rough edges to becoming the queen. Peter Ishola, photography, thank you for joining us. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time I saw you. I hope your business is doing great. I hope your business is doing well. And in a way, I'm going to be reviewing this book. I'm not done. I'm on page 6. It talks about being an influencer, John 15 Studio, hello, thank you for joining you. Thank you for joining me, I beg your pardon. Thank you for coming on this live feed. Okay, so I'm on page 6 of Queen Rita's book. I see it a little bit more as something that I would call a biography, a memoir, so, and it's really good. So I just hope she comes up. We will be talking about her life, her book. We will be talking about, other things, raising up kids. That's if we have time. But most especially, a bit into branding when it comes to you having a name for yourself. You want to go into some sort of maybe the entertainment industry, the media, or even you want to have your own business or whatever it is. Talking about brand name, we will be talking about that because she has something unique that's talking about Queen Rita. She's mostly called Queen Rita on air. Okay, so I'm still waiting for her, and if she doesn't come up, we'll have to postpone maybe to another time. So, but basically that's what this is all about. So let me pin that, okay? Right, she's right here. Okay. Let me invite her so I don't Great, Queen Rita. It's good to have you join me. Yeah. Honey, thank you very much, darling, for joining the feed. How has been your day? Yes, there she goes. There she goes. I pray network favors us today, though.
I hope so too, Lady Gwen.
And you know what? Let's do this. If network doesn't favor us, okay, we are going to certainly continue. All right, maybe some other time. We are going to certainly continue if it doesn't favor us, if it doesn't allow us to, because there are lots of things I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about your book, which I just said I'd actually scribbled so many things underlined, so many things on the book that I would like to talk about. See, I don't know if you can see that.
Wow.
That's my handwritten notes, quite a lot. And I'm on chapter 6. I'm on chapter 6,
You
so I like to
are taking your time.
Say that again.
I said you're taking your time.
Exactly. Very well. Very well. I like to also talk about, you being in the media for over 10 years. Well, I know I'm not being
Over
precise.
18 years, actually.
Okay, over 18 years, and you've been
Right.
in the marketing, in media marketing, done this, done that, and so I would like to get to all of that. Okay,
Right.
but for someone who is just listening to us or just watching us, or might be watching later and wondering, who is this lady with the pinky lipstick? You know. So I know I rather not use the cliche. Tell us a little bit about yourself, but let me go with the flow in that direction. I know about you, but tell us something interesting about you, because I'd already introduced you. You're an actress, an event hostess or event host. You're a media marketer. You're a broadcast journalist. You are an advocator. Tell us some things, that I don't even know. I've not even added about yourself.
You said quite a bit. I think much of it could be unveiled as the conversation goes on. I am a broadcast journalist. You've said that. I currently work with Hot 98.3 FM Abuja. I am the station manager, and I started working there over 16 years ago. I actually started off as a pioneer staff, I think as a traffic officer, and I have traversed traffic, news, programs, of course, where I was a programs manager at some point, marketing, where I was a marketing manager, and then group marketing manager, handling about 4 stations, interfacing with agencies and all that. So, yeah, you said it already. I'm a thespian. I actually studied theater arts for my first degree from the University of Benin. I've had a couple of, here and there appearances in movie. Not enough time to really get into that. When it comes to acting, really, whether it's screen or stage, you do need to put in the time to get out of what you're doing to be on set. So that's quite demanding. But during the lockdown, I was able to feature alongside Francis Duru and some other actors on the first ever drive-in theater in Abuja. Because because of COVID, you
Mm.
cannot really go into a theater. So it was an open space. People drive in, stay in their car. We had the audio connected to a particular dial, so you could listen from your car, stand by your. Yeah, it was a really beautiful outing. So I was really happy I was a part of that. Of course, because I don't have to go out after my show on the radio, I had time to work that out. I think that was Gripam, yes. But it was a crash course, if you ask me. Everybody was a professional. So in a week, we all had our lines and, ready to go. So yeah, I am also a marketing communications consultant. I am that person you want to talk to if you have a business or you're thinking of how to really put it out there, whether through the traditional media, from print to international media. Just knock on my door. I'm going to fix you up. So yeah, some of me, if you say, you probably said already that I'm a social justice advocate. I have an NGO on a Mercy Foundation. I actually founded that NGO because I do have a passion for the girl child. I actually did that in memory of my mom, and I have a passion for the girl child. And since you have a copy of my book, I'm sure you would have a fair idea
Mm.
why I would want to particularly go out of my way to make sure that the girl child has, a level playing ground to some extent, to be able to achieve that which is possible for them. And I've come to realize over the years that you don't need so much to actually make a difference in the life of a girl child or any child for that matter, of any person, some of the things we take for granted, going out to have lunch for 5,000, that can actually pay the school fees of a child. It's crazy
Yeah.
when you do your research and find out, just how little it would take to make a difference in somebody's life. You'll be amazed what 20,000 can do in the life of a woman. Some of them can actually
Mm.
start a Zobo Kunu business with that and send their kids to school. So I try to do a little here, a little there to just give me the peace and the joy that I so yearn for, the happiness that I yearn for. Because when I see someone who was before I met them, not having a smile on the face, and I can leave a smile on the face, I've achieved something great as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, and yes, I recently became an author as well.
Yes, that's a great feat, really, and I commend you for it. I've been trying to write my books. I can't even remember, like for over 10 years, I'd been trying, and it's a really great feat because there are so many things that we contend against our time, for our passion, not just the time, but the passion, especially when you're multi-talented. It just looks like you have a lot of things, that is battling for your attention. So I really do commend you, and it was a good one, though. I really do commend you. You
Thank
talked about
you.
you being a traffic officer. I'm going to
Yeah.
start from there because a lot of people think that the only way to get into broadcasting or broadcast journalism is to start as a presenter. Everybody wants to be in front of the mic. Everybody wants to talk on the radio. And there is this mentality that that's the only thing that exists when it comes to media. So I like your thought on this.
Okay. So I've always believed that what is mine is mine, and what I want to achieve, I will achieve eventually. In life, there isn't one. Yoruba has this proverb, "Onoko woja." Is that how they say it? There are several ways to get into the market.
Onoko Waja. Onoko
Thank
Waja.
you very much. My Yoruba is rusty. you know, when I applied for a job at Hot FM, I did that because I admired the person who established this particular organization, Senator Chris Anyanwu. Then she wasn't a senator anyway. It was Chris Anyanwu.
I
And I
remember.
was,
I
oh,
remember.
yes, I was almost going to start a job at the NTA. Sir Wale Koko had, we had discussed, he had told me to come over and all that. And then I hear that this station is coming up, and it's Senator Chris Anyanwu. I'm like, oh my goodness, I admire her. I would love to work with her. And I just went. And I remember during the interview, she said to me that, oh, well, we've spoken to a lot of people today. It was quite a panel. I can't remember what it was talking about, but it was quite a panel. And she was like, okay, we've spoken to a lot of people today. Everybody can be a presenter. So what else can you do? Would you like to be a marketer? I'm like, huh? No. I'm not a marketer. I didn't come here to be, I've always dreaded the word marketer. Only for me to realize that at some point in my life that I've actually done that all my life, as you would find out when you read my book anyways. But she said to me, like, I speak to you and I see a bundle of talent, and I'm not sure, but I do know there's so much we can do together. So I'm going to bring you on anyway, and I'm going to discover you. I'm trying to rephrase, right? So when we started, I was given the post of the traffic officer. Now, the traffic officer is the person who arranges the adverts you hear on air. When you listen to a radio station, an advert pops up, someone has programmed that. And now with technology, you can actually program a whole year of adverts in a system and go to sleep. And it will just happen like that. Now, it takes a lot of knowledge, someone who's computer savvy. Even as at that time, it wasn't computerized, was it? I don't think so, no. We used to manually log the advert. We'll create a log, make sure the presenters, go through it. So when you resume, you have to make sure that you go through the log so you're not missing any of the adverts that are supposed to run within your shift. So it was my job to ensure that this job that comes from agency A or client B that is supposed to run at ABT time is not just scheduled for that time, but actually goes on air at that time. And that's a very serious responsibility because radio stations don't run on water. They run on money. And the only means of generating revenue is through advertising. So as a traffic person, you hold a very key position in that organization because compliance of adverts, you're responsible for that. Of course, you work with the team, right? But you ensure that if the client says, I want time A, they get time B. Because if they say time A and you run it at time B, that is what we call in local parlance, free. They won't pay for it. Exactly. They're not going to pay for it. So it's a serious responsibility, and it is one out of the many things you can do when you work in the media space. Like you said, yes, everybody wants to be in the microphone because you feel like, oh yeah, I am now. We have a new name for it, OAP. I don't think we're saying OAP then. We're presenter,
No, no, we were never
Yeah,
calling them OAPs. In fact,
yeah.
continuity announcer. You're
Exactly, or presenter or newscaster. Yes, I did do newscasting as well. I still do that once in a while. Okay, so that's just one of the several things. And now with technology, there's so much from social media to, being the chief editor. There's so much you can do in the media organization. And there's so many people who do all the work while some of us take the glory because they hear your voice and they don't know who are putting all that much work to program you music wise, and even the engineers. We have female engineers, the people doing a whole lot of things in the media. This is one of the reasons why we thought it necessary. When I say we, a couple of us, including headline Malala Oladimeji, to start up the Women in Media Development Initiative, because when you
right.
hear about ladies who work in the media, you just think of fine faces. We are fine, we know that, okay? In front of cameras, but there are ladies in accounts, there are ladies in HR, there are ladies in other administrative positions in the media, there are ladies in engineering, there are ladies in production, cameramen, camera ladies. There's a whole lot of different departments in the media where women function as well. And when we talk about female journalists, we kind of just, sideline those people. And which is why WIMD is about all women who work in the media. So if you look at the kind of trainings that WIMD do, it's not just about the broadcasters. We've had trainings for HR people, we've had trainings for specific bits that people cover, but so long as you're a woman and you work in the media.
Right. I
You have
do
something.
really I do really agree with you, and I maybe should also point out that people just assume that those who are behind, or those who are behind the camera and those who are behind the mics, that they are less powerful, less worthy, less valuable. And I beg to disagree. I remember there was
Absolutely.
I remember there was an instance. At that time, I was with Fumi Yoda, and we were on New Dawn on 10. Then they used
Great
to be at
show.
Tejo. Yeah. Then they used to be at Tejo show, and guess what? She was live, and the mic was not on.
Oh.
The floor manager had signaled her in, to talk, and the camera had already, started rolling
Rolling.
and all of that.
And it's
And,
a live show.
was a live show. So, and, hello, good morning, I'm Fumi Yoda. This is New Dawn on 10, and nobody was hearing anything. And sometimes, the people in the MCR, that's the control room, sometimes they just want to show their power. And sometimes it might just be something actually really went off. Do you understand? And at
Right.
that point, one day she said, do you think these people, this cameramen, these people, they are not powerful? Let them cut you off. And let them just tell you, Madam, I don't know what happened. We can't locate one cable. You're on your own. So how will that voice go out?
You don't want to mess with the engineers or the cameramen anywhere. I
Exactly.
say that when I train, whether I'm talking to broadcasters or compares, you don't want to. Even as a station manager now, I know a thing or two about the fact that those guys can really, 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 if they want to, hold you where it hurts.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Exactly. So it also just go on to show and to say that, look, every blockchain in the media, every single person in the media is very important, and people should stop
right.
thinking that because you hear this person's voice every day they are more important. Even I think the presenters, themselves need to disabuse our minds, to
Right.
say, oh, we are the superstar, and forgetting that, the traffic officer or the media marketer, or the media executive, they all make the station, to work, because the lifeblood of any station is money. And
Yeah.
that also brings me, because I read in your book how you were grafted into marketing, and how you, you had a team, and how you succeeded in bringing in your first transaction, and all that. Now, talking about media marketing, do you think that every presenter should be a marketer? Because that's always, like, crux of the matter sometimes for broadcasters or for media personalities. Do you think that every
Um,
media personality should
that,
be
that,
a
that,
marketer?
that might be too a blanket a statement. But then on the reverse, if you look at it, every human being is a marketer. It's about whether you're intentional about it. Before we started this show, you put out a post. What were you doing? You were marketing
Marketing.
this show. Simple. You were marketing this show. The one thing I realized during that time was I didn't do marketing for I don't know, for was it up to 2 months before we were on. I didn't stay a month or two before I started going on air. So I was actually doing both side by side, right? And I realized that it gave me an edge both ways.
Mm,
Going on air, I knew, because I speak to clients, I knew what they're looking for. I know what the people connect with, right? If I'm speaking to someone who owns a restaurant, I know what program will interest them. I know to say to them, if you listen to Lady Gwen's show, it airs at ABC time. You see, people go to lunch at the time when her show is on air, and you are a lunch place. If you sponsor that program, we will do this for you, we will do that for you. That is because I can relate with both ends of the device. And I advise that even as a programmer, if you're creating content, involve the marketer in the process, because you can't sell what you don't know.
mm.
You cannot sell what you don't know. So I always say, you can't just sit down and say, oh, this program is nice, we are targeting this person, blah, 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 blah. And the end of the day, you just throw it at the sales team. Hello? They also need to be carried along. So I realized that as an on-air personality, you have an edge even over the trained marketer if you are intentional about wanting to actually make sales.
Right.
Because my colleague who or a salesperson who is not on air will not get the same reaction I get when I walk into a client's office, talk about the
Mm.
station, and then they now realize my brand as well. And as we're talking, and I go, yes, so here's my card. And then they looked at the name. Oh, you're Rita Eghujovbo. Oh, you are the Rita. Ah, see that. I listened to your show. When you did this, when you did that. So what did you say this is your proposal about? Now I have their full attention. But the salesperson will not get the same reaction. I even say to salespeople, if you need to drag an OAP along for a pitch, do it. And I say to my OAPs, brother, make yourself available.
Mm.
It's easier for an OAP to sell, right, than it is for a regular salesperson. Of course, it could be there. It can be equally easy for the salesperson if they are very into the brand. They understand the brand. They breathe and sleep the brand. If you wake me up at 2 a.m. and ask me what is on my station, as a
Right.
salesperson, I will tell you, this is what is on air right now. As a matter of fact, I could probably tell you the same information about all my competition.
Right.
Because
Right.
if you don't have information, you can't sell. And
You
you
can
can't
sell.
sell what you don't know. And an
True.
OAP, I mean, who will know your show better than you?
True.
And with digital media, it is becoming very clear now, because look at all the OAP. Everybody is struggling to be brand ambassador for this brand or that brand. You're pushing your brand on social media. You're looking for people to partner with things that you do. You're marketing. It's just a case of, do you feel strong enough that you also need to put that as a service to the organization that you're working with? And does the organization also realize that you have that potential and then give you an incentive to do that? Because if an OAP is going out of their way to do that, they also need to get something to show for it. So the organization should also say, oh, if you go out of your way, if you do this, I'm going to give you so percentage out of whatever you bring in. That is fire for people to start moving. So it's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing. OAPs can be, so long as they are intentional about it.
Right. There is one key thing that you said, and that I feel for those who are core media practitioner can learn. And that's also probably one of the number one, or one of the most important trick, to making their shows or show elements sellable, is to sit with the marketers. First of all, sit with the marketers and tailor your show, ask questions, because yours is to be a content developer. Ask questions. Okay, now let me bring that sense into a whole lot of these kids we're seeing now, a whole lot of this social media content providing, or content providers. If one wants to start as a content provider, because you're also a content provider, you do the same thing, I do. You've had great guests, celebrities. You've interviewed celebrities on your chat show on IG, and that is also producing original content. So if somebody who is trying to make their online, or should I say social media content, to be sellable, what idea, or how would you say they should go about it?
Well, people, first off, you need to know who you are, know your brand, and then know your target audience. There are a lot of skits out there, but I'm not sure it's all of them that you watch.
No.
So you have some that you can connect with just because you want to laugh. There are others that you connect with because you want to laugh and learn. And there are others that you're just like, what the? But that which you're saying, what the, is the interest of someone else, right?
True.
So every brand needs to know who their target customer is. And there is a target customer for almost any brand, no matter what, no matter how much is content. There is a segment that actually likes that content, right? So first, know you. What's your brand? Are you selling guguru today? Tomorrow you are selling fish. Next tomorrow you're selling, be focused. What is it that you're about as a brand? That's very important. And then what do you want to achieve with that show? Do you just want to have a live show where you chat? You just want to showcase talents because you feel their story will impact other people? Are your skits specifically to communicate, social messages, right? You want to change people's attitude towards certain things. A lot of comedians these days, when you watch their skits, you laugh. But if you pause, you would see the message in what they're putting on. I'm not sure, LadyGwen is here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm hearing you.
Okay, great. So it's important to know your brand. It's also important that you're not just creating content for the sake of creating content. Sometimes you go on a live show and you have like hundreds of people watching, and sometimes you don't. And the days you don't, when you then share that video, you see the effect you eventually get, right? Because you did that video with the mindset of, I know 10 years from now, people will still see this, and it will still communicate, and it will still make an impact in their life. So what impact do you want to make with that content? Before you go on pop life, What do you want to communicate? If I speak to an Ali Baba, it's because I know him. It's because I've researched him, and I know that his story is something that would inspire people, right? If I speak to a Derele, it's because I know he's controversial, and in that controversiality, he has content. He's super intelligent. He has been able to make a difference, even in his own space.
Right.
The same way, if I interview Moses Bliss, is because I've read the story and I see how his tenacity was able to move him from cutting ugu with his mom in the market, selling sachet water, to being Moses Bliss, if you know what I mean. And there are 1,001 young people out there who feel like, that's them, this is us. And stories like that make them realize that, oh, I can. It's possible. If this person could, I can. So the question is, what do you want to achieve with that content? Be very clear about it. It's important. Yes, you want to get followers. Yes, you want to make money. Yes. Beyond that, do you have other objective of the impact you want to make with your content? You need to answer that question. Very important.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much,
You're breaking up badly. I think the network is showing up probably from your end.
Oh my world. Really?
Yeah.
And I can hear you loud and clear. Okay,
Speaking boy is saying, please, LadyGwen, make sure you save this video for us.
Trust me. Trust me. Seriously, I will. I'm actually compiling some of this content. I'm actually
Oh wow.
to my heart. You so receive me. Oh my goodness.
LadyGwen, I can barely make out what you're saying. It is breaking badly.